The next question I have, man, and this is when somebody's actually making that transition, when they're transitioning from a 9-to-5 job to being their own boss. When you're in a 9-to-5 job, you have a boss that's telling you the tasks that need done and the goals that need done. When you're in charge, you have to set those goals to be effective and efficient. So now that you're an entrepreneur, I want to know, how do you structure your day?
It's been structuring my day has been a learning process as well, because, we've all heard the story of, the rapper finally makes it and then he falls off, or the professional athlete makes it to the league. He's the number 1 draft pick and then he's not really what everybody thought he was going to be.
Johnny Football.
Right. And I think a similar thing sort of happened to me. So I made it, quote unquote. And then I kind of not got lazy, but I kind of fell into that. Well, I have all day, every day to do whatever I want to do. I can play video games if I want to play video games. I can read a book if I want to read a book. I can make a video if I want to make a video. And I think for a second there, I got a little bit lazy. And have you ever heard of The Power of Broke?
No, tell me about it.
So I've never read it, but I've heard on Shark Tank, there's Damon John.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
So he always talks about the power of broke. And even though he is massively successful, he wakes up every day like he's still broke.
Day one mentality.
And he's still grinding like he's still broke. So it took me a couple months, but back to your original question, after those few months where I'm like, oh, I can't just sit here and not make videos. The revenue and the money is not going to come in if I don't keep putting in work. So I can't stop doing what I did to get me here. But to answer your question, I think for me right now, I've figured out a plan where I have a daily routine. So I wake up in the morning and I do the same exact thing every day. I drink a greens drink, take a cold shower. I do my workout. I answer my athletes. I work on a video for that day. And then whatever big project that I have after that, it's just the same routine every single day. And then if I make it past my routine, which some days I don't. Some days I just get done with my routine and then I have a basketball game or, things come up and I don't make it past that. But at least I did my routine. At least I moved the needle a little bit. So my morning routine, my daily routine, I do every single day. If I make it past that and I have more time to work, then I have these big buckets of projects that I tap into. And one of them is like, I have a list of every single athlete that I coach online. It's like, I look at when's the last time I talked to them. It's like a retention list. And you go in and, hey, I haven't talked to this dude in a week. Go see how he's doing. So that's one big bucket. If I have extra time, I just make the extra effort to be a better coach. Another bucket is learning. If I have extra time to learn, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't know everything about sports performance. I need to go research, or I need to go read books. I need to go learn. I need to go, become a better entrepreneur or a better coach. And then another one is, extra work, extra workouts. There's always the small things that we don't have time to do in our main workouts. It's like, well, you can't touch your toes, dude. Like, go do some extra mobility or some extra stretching or do something to move the needle forward in that aspect. So what works for me is every single day I do the same morning routine, at least to push the needle a little bit. And then if I make it past that routine, I tap into these bigger buckets and bigger projects of work. Good. But I do think that it's different for everybody. I don't think that's universal. I think that depending on who you are and how you are built and your mentality, I think that you need to find out what works for you, because you'll hear these successful entrepreneurs, they'll write it in a book, do things this way or do things this way. And everybody's, saying something different. And I'm saying, do your morning routine and then tap into your bigger projects. That doesn't work for everybody. You need to experiment and you need to find out what works for you to be the most efficient and productive.
I agree. You and I have a similar approach in that respect, is that I have this notebook on me right now and I put down, I don't want to call it a to-do list, but for lack of a better explanation, it is a to-do list where it's like, okay, these are the things I must do every single day to drive the needle forward. And then if I have free time, I do the same thing. Like, what is the next project that we kind of need to pursue in the gym, for the podcast, for my rental property business. What do I need to be working on in the grand scheme of things for me to basically take, it might not be one step forward that day, but I know that I chip away at that stone. So eventually it becomes what I want it to be.
Right. And one thing on top of that, just very quickly, is doing a morning routine, or like you said, doing a to-do list every single day can get very monotonous. It can get boring. Some days you wake up and you don't feel like doing it. So I found that one thing that helps me is right before I do everything, I try to get back to my why. Like, why am I drinking a greens drink? Why am I doing a cold shower? Because cold showers suck. Like, I don't want to do a cold shower. I want to do a hot shower. Right. Like, it feels way better. So as I'm going through these things, if you just go through day after day after day after day after day, it gets boring and monotonous. And eventually you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this again? So you really have to stay connected to your purpose and your why. And one thing that's helped me is every single thing that I do, if I don't feel like doing it, ask myself, well, why am I doing this in the first place? Why am I doing a cold shower? I'm doing a cold shower because I want the health benefits that come with a cold shower, but mainly because I need to teach my mind and my brain that we don't do what we feel like doing. You have discipline. You do what is going to move you towards your goals, whether you want to do it or not. Like, you have to have that discipline. So, and then why am I working out? Sometimes I don't feel like working out, but if I tap into my why, well, I don't want to be fat. I want to look good. I don't want to be able to not jump high. I'm the vertical jump coach and I'm 31. I want people to look at me like, wow, he's 31 and he's bouncing like that. Like, this guy obviously knows what he's doing. So I just wanted to say one thing that's helped me is connecting. And you can do this no matter what you're doing. Even if you don't like your 9 to 5, connect with, goes back to, how can I reframe this? How can my 9 to 5 right now, let's say I'm at Lowe's helping people, like in somebody, hey, where are the nails at? It's like, you need to teach yourself to communicate and build rapport with people, no matter who they are, and just be a good person. And no matter what you're doing, you can reframe that and use that. And if you just connect with your purpose, well, I'm here working at Lowe's because I'm building my side hustle on the side. So I think connecting with the deeper purpose of why you are doing things really helps, and it keeps everything from getting boring and monotonous.